Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. This is another day that the Lord has kept us, and we are here. As the old generation used to say, we're clothing our right mind, the
Amen.
blood running warm in our veins, and we're so glad about it. Well, I'm Portia Wheatley. I am the founder and the president of a nonprofit organization acknowledged as Trophy of Life Incorporated, where we have the great pleasure of rendering hope and encouragement to the whole wide world. And we're grateful to do that. Well, this is day 96. This is day 96. He's kept us from day one and allowed us to bring messages of hope, encouragement, and inspiration by way of Project 365. And that's the platform that you are viewing on today, where we can bring people to you, situations to you, topics to you, all kinds of topics. You listen in, you continue to listen in. You just might hear your topic, but every person that comes to you has a message of hope, encouragement, and inspiration that will bless, as my Archbishop say, bless your socks off. So on that note, it's something about saying that. On that note, we're going to bring in our co-host.
Hello, everyone. I'm Takara Swan, for those of you who do not know, and I'm so happy to be here on this beautiful day. We have a wonderful, beautiful guest with us who's going to share a wonderful message. But before we get to her, I want to remind all of you, if you have not done so already, please go to our YouTube page to like, share, and subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you know every time we make a new post.
Great, great, great. And we want to make sure everyone does that so that every person that comes to this platform to share will be shared all over the world, just like we are. You come along with us. You're a part of the team. Well, before we introduce our guest on today, wanted to share with you the topic that we're going to talk about today, which is we're going to honor individuals who have been instrumental in her life. It's something about being a foster parent. It's something about just sharing good things with maybe a child that may not have parents. There's something wonderful about sharing your time, your finances, your home, your space, your emotions, all of that in a positive way. And that's what happened with our guest on today. She had individuals who just poured into her life. And today she wants to take the time to honor them. I think that is so wonderful. We want to touch, like I said, we want to touch every topic. And today we want to honor some individuals that thought it not robbery to spend time, to invest time, to give love, to share love with someone that they did not give birth to. And we want to say thank you. Thank you to the uncles, the aunties, the neighbors, the teachers, anyone who decided, let me share what life is all about in a good way, of course, with someone else who just may need it, who may not have what I have, but I want to share what I have. And on that note, I want to introduce our guest, Quanetta. Put that T on the end, Quanetta Holt. Welcome, Quanetta. Thank you for accepting our invitation to come and share on this platform. You can have this time.
Thank you for having me, Miss Wheatley. My name is Quanetta Holt, and I'm gonna break the story up into a couple of pieces. The first piece is giving honor to God first to allow this platform, and it's interesting because I did not grow up the first 10 years of my life actually being in church, but I knew to say my prayers and things like that. Mr. Donald Holt, who is not my biological father, he adopted my sister and I when he and my mother were married. And if I cry, just ignore the tears because I'm just like really thinking about a lot of things that he instilled in us when we were children. And my mom was a teenage mother. And he and my mother were together since I think she was 8 months pregnant with me. So he's the only father that I ever knew until somewhere in my early years, I found out that my biological father was what his name was. So I did not find him until later on. So I'm not going to get into that right at the moment. But Donald Holt, who is one of, I believe it was 7 or 8. I lose count. I lose count. But I grew up, his brothers were my uncles, and his sisters were my aunties, and his mom was my grandma. My paternal grandmother, who I did not know, but his mother was my paternal grandmother. That's all I knew. So when by him adopting us, we became his children, not his stepchildren. We were not his biological children, but he did not treat us. We didn't know anything about step and all that other stuff. We just knew he was daddy, you know. He was a military person. He grew up military. So he taught us a lot of things. He taught us how to bounce quarters off our beds, which I never got that. I never got that down. But he also instilled in us, use your brain. He used to tell my mom all the time, let the girls have a life, you know, use your brain every time, you know, use your brain. And I'm like, man, I used to think it was so hard to hear that, but growing up, I was able to benefit from that. He used to, when we were younger, he used to take us, they used to have this game called Strikeout, him and his brothers. And they would get together every Saturday morning and go play Strikeout. It was like baseball, you know, but it was just them, and they go and I guess strike each other out or whatever. And we got to spend time, family time, meals, holidays, all those things were with his family, which was our family. And it was just phenomenal growing up, knowing, when I realized or found out that I had a biological father, that changed, because it was so many things that happened to me emotionally. And I'm like, man, what's that? I was like, well, one of the things that stood out to me is because I'm allergic to seafood. And none of my family on my mother's side, my maternal family, was allergic to seafood. So I had this whole, like, where do I get that from? You know? And so, because he's, use your brain, use your brain. I used my brain later on in life to find my biological paternal father. And I was successful. I tried 3 times. And because I knew I had a brain, and that might sound funny to some people, but you know you have a brain because you're talking, you're thinking, or whatever. But how to use it, how to navigate with it, it's a totally different story. So he instilled in us about individuality, you know, like, whatever the things are that you want to do in life, or your situations. You know, my sister and I both were born with a disability. And I have muscular dystrophy. And with that, a lot of things we couldn't do as children physically. So all of these things are going on. We didn't know at the time. I didn't find out till I was 25. But what he used to tell us, you know, don't let anything stop you. You know, whatever you set your mind to, just go for it. Okay. And the strange thing, it's really strange. It's not irony how God does things, but Donald's name is Donald Eugene. Okay. And this is I'm giving you the first few years of our life, um, until he and my mother were no longer together. God saw it not robbery to bless me with a set of godparents. And my godmother, who was also, you know, interviewed by your show, Sheila Short, and my godfather's Eugene Short. So it didn't dawn on me until a couple of Father's Day. I was making a post, and I was like, wow. I said, wait a minute. The man that raised me and gave me his last name, his name is Eugene. Okay. And my godfather's name is Eugene. So even though, you know, my dad that raised me, that gave me his last name, he has another family. We have 2 other sisters, my sister and I. So a total of 4 girls that are his, you know. So our lives changed a little bit. Lives changed. Life happened, you know. And I am so grateful to him for teaching me how to use my brain, how to encouraging me, use your brain. Don't let anything stop you. I was born in the 70s, so it wasn't a whole lot of technology. It wasn't a whole lot of conversation. If the parents said what they said, that was it. It was no why. You couldn't ask why questions. You couldn't ask why questions, but with those why questions came a lot of uh, opportunities to learn. Okay, so when I was in my teenage years, and I remember my pastor, Pastor Williams. That's where I got a lot of my religious information, some spiritual information, foundation at the level that it was back then. The Lord has spoken to my pastor and told my pastor to have it was three young ladies in the church, me being one of them. And then it was three other young ladies that were older than us. Sheila Short, the Lord told her to put me under her wing. That's what the pastor instructed her to do. Me not realizing all of what was involved in that, she did exactly what the Lord told her to do, to put me under her wing. Oh, I'm a little emotional. So when she did that, she never treated me like I was not hers. Eugene Short never treated me like I wasn't theirs. When it came time for grades, if my grades was bad, or, because I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm a teenager, He's like, no. This is what we not gonna do. Because you have a brain. You have the ability to be more than what you expect from yourself. Whew. So from the training of being young, being in the military, I wasn't in the military, but my dad, the household was a military household, and he was in the reserves. So then I have my godfather who is a preacher, and he used to have this nickname when we were coming up called the Walking Bible. That's what the Catholics call it. She called it the Walking Bible. So me growing up in that kind of household had structure. And that's where I learned how to pray, like really understand that you can connect with God. I mean, I knew how to say the repetitive prayer that I learned when I was younger, but from the instructions, it taught me to have some discipline. Had my mom not gotten into the church, and I would not have met these two great people who they birthed um, together. They have 9 children. I always say, no, y'all have 10. No, you have 10. But because I always felt like, man, even though my birth mom, my mother, and she's been deceased for 19 years, my godmother always encouraged me to find my biological father, because I had so many holes in my life that were unanswered. And so I found out a lot more about myself once I found my biological father. When I'm encouraging anybody that when you find out, when you know that you have a space, a hole in your life that you just can't seem to piece it together, stop trying to force what you don't know and connect with people that will encourage you to enhance what's already in you. Because what's in you is what God put in you. Now, there are some environmental things that may take place, but you definitely want to, find out who you are as a person. And these are things that my godparents really, really, she was my godmother's my ear. She's been my ear for years. I don't have to talk to her as much because what she instilled in me, I practiced. What Donald Holt instilled in me, I practiced. There are my godfather. He taught me how to comparative shop, and a lot of times we don't know, and we are too prideful to ask questions. But that I'm encouraging you to ask questions. I learned things from my children. I would never have done that because of the way that I was raised. I was never raised as far as my mom was a teenage mother. I was born in the 70s. I'm old school. I have a lot of old school tendencies. But because I have children, I want to learn more. So my godparents, and because of the relationship that we had, I always look for opportunities to learn from other people. The first time that I realized that, because there were things that took place, Pastor Jerry Wade, he was the pastor of First Baptist Church in Cambridge, Maryland. And he said something to me. I was a new member, and he said something to me that really changed the way I viewed pastorship and the relationship between parishioner and pastors or administration of a church. And I'm like, wow, he said to me, he said, a pastor's job is to give you the word. That is a pastor's job. And to direct you in the ways of the Lord according to scripture. I wasn't used to just somebody giving me the word and not being in my business, because some pastors do, they go above and beyond, certain things. So I wasn't used to that, but I learned from him. So I changed things. Again, paying honor and encouraging others. Hey, pastors are people too, but there are certain things you can't expect one person to give you every single thing. We are all here. We all have our place. We all have our purpose, and we have to utilize what we do know and what we have learned, and help somebody else. Like my Donald, he helped us. He helped me. My godparents, they helped me, and they had a family of their own. They had 7 children at the time. I lived with them. And when they had the twins, I lived with them. And I always tease, I'm like, I am the only one that has benefited, as far as being raised from a teenager to adulthood, that has been being able to benefit from living with them. And their children are my siblings. So my family is so huge. My family, just me, and I'm so grateful. We talk on the phone, the oldest girl, Tiffany, and I, we're very close. Not that the other ones are not, but she's the oldest girl that they birthed. And, she said, niece, I always seen you as my big sister. I don't have a big sister, so you're my big sister. So my biological sister, our relationship, because of the way that they instilled certain things in me, I have a better relationship with my sister. I've always lived away from my family. I always wanted to move further and further away, because born and raised in Baltimore. And it was difficult back in the 70s and 80s. Very, very different life. And so I wanted more. I always wanted more for myself, just didn't know how to get it. And God blessed me with the godparents that I have to be able to navigate and into the career areas that I'm in.
And what are they? What are those career areas?
Okay.
And that is a result of what your godparents, the Eugene and Sheila Short, as well as Mr. Holt, has instilled in you. So that's is just immeasurable. It is priceless, because you still hold on to what they instilled in you.
Yes. So I started off wanting to be an obstetrician, until I found out I had to take trigonometry. And I changed to being a chef. I went to culinary school of Baltimore. The tuition was very expensive. And I did not finish that, but I kept perfecting that. And so I became a private caterer. I do private catering for small events, unless I want to go bigger, I got into education when I started having a family. So I went to school for teaching. So I am a teacher. And along with, I am a media marketing person. I am a radio personality on Love Radio Network. And I'm an education advocate. I tutor people in whether it's mathematics, and that's a whole different story too. My mathematics, I love teaching. So my godfather had said to me, he said, you know what? Have you ever taken a spiritual gifts test? So I took the spiritual gifts test, and everything that I've been doing over the period of, I'll be 50 next month. So everything that I've been doing over the time period, I didn't know that that's my purpose. What I'm doing is my purpose. So I instruct people. I'm a coach. A lot of people suggested that I get into life coaching and different things. I have a mentor, Monique James. She's another one that I connected with in Arizona. And
Well,
she is my,
you're just doing so much. You're making me tired. You're just doing so much. But I tell you what, though,
yes, ma'am.
I'm sure you would not have gone. No, I can't say that. I'm sure you would not have achieved as much as you have
Right.
achieved had it not been for those individuals who poured into you.
Yeah.
That's so amazing. And we need so many others who have those qualities. Even though the Shorts had that size family, even now, they are the most lovable people. They are so lovable.
Yeah.
It is amazing. And their family and their children.
Yes. Yes.
It is amazing. And we really bless God for them and their lives. I've never met Mr. Donald, um, but maybe one day or another. Is he still with us today? Or
Yes, he's
good.
he's 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 with us and his
Good.
girls and his wife, and we all communicate as much as we can. But yeah, they poured into me, so I pour back into other people.
That's what I'm talking about. And that's how it rolls. That's how it takes a tribe, it takes a village, all of us coming together. What qualities you have, share them with someone else. That's
Exactly.
that's that's how it works. But thank you so very much. We appreciate you sharing that, and definitely appreciate honoring those
Yes.
individuals that poured into you. That is, it's so amazing. It's so amazing.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so
Absolutely.
much.
Kira?
I just want to piggyback off of what you said. They do say it takes a village, and it's so amazing how God has plans for our life, and we just don't know, what they are until you see the bigger picture finally. And everything that you've gone through, and the people that you've met and encountered, and people that poured into your life, they have made you who you are to push you further into your purpose. And I think that's so amazing, like you did say, and I am so grateful that you have this opportunity to, thank the people that have poured into your life. Because a lot of times, we don't ever get that chance. So I think that's wonderful that you get to celebrate those who have, helped you mold you into who God wanted you to be. I think you're going to make a great life coach. I think you should do it. Because you have so much to offer. And like Ms. Portia said, that is how the cycle goes. God molds us into who he wants us to be to, further our purpose. And then you reach back and bring those people along with you that you're going to pour into their lives so they can become who they're supposed to be. So everything just comes full circle. And I'm just so blessed and grateful for you that you have had this wonderful experience. And I think it's always a blessing when you can have others who aren't necessarily related to you biologically that can
Right.
pour into you and help to build you up and support you and mold you. So I'm so happy for you and for your experience, because I know that you're going to pour into someone else because of what you have experienced. So it was so nice to meet you today. You're a beautiful person inside and out, I'm telling you.
I
Thank
tell
you
you
so
what,
much.
then she was talking about the what was that magazine for bald ladies?
Oh, it's called Bald Magazine. And I can't remember the young lady's name, but I reached out to her. Yeah, so to share my story. So
All right. All right. I see here in the comment section that Amanda Short says, I remember as a child, we visited you in culinary school. We always have had creative conversations. So those
yes,
shorts are checking you out. You
they my
walk,
baby.
walk the straight and narrow because they're checking you out.
Yes,
But they're beautiful. That's a beautiful family, I must say, a beautiful
thank
family.
you.
And it's good when you don't have to feel for your words when you're expressing yourself about someone. They just come normally and naturally. But it's good. It's good. Thanks again. We appreciate you so very much. And to our audience, those who, again, who have the love to share, that can pour into some of our youth, we definitely need you to do that. If you have the love to do it, please do. You see the children or the teenagers or the young adults in the street or just hanging out, or interacting with some of those that need some direction. If you have it, reach out. Reach out to them, especially if you prayed first. God will already have prepared them to receive what you have to say. Just remember, say it in love. That will cause them to come to attention. Okay? I love me. I love you. I love God. I love him. I love him. So we are going to leave you on today. I just wanted to make a note on tomorrow. We will come to you at 12:30 instead of 1 o'clock, only tomorrow. That is for our everyday viewers. Just in case you look for us at 1, we probably will be almost ending, but we will definitely be back on Thursday at 1 o'clock. Okay. Love you. God bless you, Quanetta. Matter of fact, before we go,
Yes.
tell us your radio station again.
Okay, my radio station is the name of my show is Sunday Fire. That's FIYE for flavor in your ear. And it comes on Sundays, every Sunday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And it is the loveradionetwork.com.
All right. Thank you so much. And we will see everyone on tomorrow.